electrical and HVAC.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Bold, White, and Blue podcast.
Hey, Josh.
What's happening?
Ready to go?
Let's do it.
Yeah, man. What you think about talking about today? You gonna put that on me?
Yeah, you got it today.
You got it? Hey, listen. I'm gonna tell you what. If I had to pick one, like a one sentence to define this one, it would be sharp bits.
Sharp bits?
Sharp bits.
All right.
You know,
Not shark.
not shark. Yeah, yeah, not shark bits. Sharp bits.
All right.
Like sharp. Okay. So anyway,
Can we go into one thing, a little fun thing real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because it is rivalry weekend
day after Thanksgiving.
here in South Carolina. That's massive. Well, the whole Southeast, really. It's not just here, but
Yeah.
Tigers, Gamecocks.
Oh, did you see that little debate with Nick Saban and Kurt Herbstreit? Kurt Herbstreit wasn't giving the Tigers any love for their win over Furman.
Yeah.
And old Nick Saban kind of leaned over and said they did what good teams do.
Yeah.
They won.
It doesn't matter who you're playing.
It doesn't really matter, man.
You got to bring it every time.
play your game. They
Play
did.
your game.
I don't know, man. I need the Tigers to be back. I'm not a Tiger fan at all. I want them back. I mean, you just got to have that strong ACC team in there, you know, that can knock off an SEC team any given day.
Yeah.
We need that. Speaking of which, we got one in Georgia Tech, and we got the Bulldogs playing them today at 3:30.
All right. Well, let's since y'all play first, score prediction. I know I'm putting you on the spot right now.
Yeah,
you didn't
I'm
know.
gonna go. I'm going with an overtime game again.
Ooh. Okay.
42-40.
Who's taking it?
Tech. And
Really?
I'm a dog fan.
Okay.
Haynes King had a heartbreaker last week. Almost let his team down, even with multiple personal errors. Not his best game. Against who was that they were playing last week? Who was that? Anyway, yeah, they were down like 28-0 at one point, and he came back several times and could have easily won that game. So I'm gonna say Georgia Tech, Haynes King, Heisman contender this year. Almost had Georgia in 6 overtimes or something crazy last year. Just suffered a heartbreaker that took Georgia Tech out of the ACC championship. I think there's blood in the water, man.
All right.
And I just don't know if the Dogs going to match that intensity. I want them to, man. Mm-hmm. And Kirby Smart's going to have his team as ready as they can be, but
Where are
hope
they
they
at?
didn't eat too much turkey.
Are they in?
They are playing at home. At Athens. They're playing at Athens today. Yep.
Be a lot of unhappy customers.
That's okay, man. Hey, you got to pull for good, tough, hard-nosed football.
Yeah.
And I'm a Dogs fan, man. Watch Haynes King. Don't write him off.
Yeah.
I hate Tech, but I like this kid.
Okay.
He's good.
All right.
What about Carolina, Clemson? Let's hear it.
All right. I'm gonna have to take the home team. I'm gonna take good guys. But that being said, I think Clemson has looked absolutely anemic, bulimic, all of those words.
Are you trying to say
combined.
there's a lack of communication?
There is a lot of lack
and
of
lack of
communicating.
creating on the team?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But I think more so I hope than I think. But I say Tigers get it done. I'm going to say 23-20. I'm going to say it's close.
Ooh.
Real close.
Yeah.
Anxiety driven.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Yeah.
But
Where are they playing?
I think they're in Columbia.
In Columbia?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna go Cox.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll see how that plays out. I might look like a big old idiot, but
Nah, hey, man, it's college football, especially this time of year. It's anybody's game.
it don't matter if Clemson came in 9-1 and Carolina came in 2-8.
That's right.
It's always a game.
That's
It's
exactly
always a game
right,
to
man.
watch. But now that we got that out of the way,
No, you're good, man. I mean, my thing is I'm always talking about sports with the guys anyway. I think there's so many comparisons between life and sports. That's why sports are so popular, because you can take all those analogies of learning to build a championship team, or learning how to face adversity, or learning how to win gracefully, or learning how to lose with class and make those adjustments, learning how to recruit, learning how to coach, learning how to train. There's never an end to the analogies in sports. You know, I like when sometimes a customer will ask me, they'll say, hey, can you give me a ballpark figure on a repipe of a house. And I say, no, not really, because the ballpark's a really big place. I mean, do you want
400 feet that way?
Yeah, do you want
375
a
that
deep
way?
center field shot, or do you want to bunt down the third base line?
Yeah.
Because there's different ways to get on base, and we're all about getting on base here. So, there's different ways to skin a cat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want it all in copper? Is it a 2-story house? Is it in a slab? There's just so many variables that go into estimating a project like that. It can be $5,000 job. It can be a $40,000 job. So you can't ever give a ballpark all the way. Yeah. Some things, obviously, it's a little easier to predict. It's like, hey, I've got a 2-hole hitter here that can't hit more than 180 feet. How are we going to handle this situation?
Yeah. And that I do deal with that. I'd say more in the office, because people will make that phone call and say like, hey, can you give me an idea? I'm like, well, we have our price book. Mm-hmm. Yes. But I just tell them the technician has to come out there and actually lay eyes on it. Because if not, I mean, you could say I already have a 2-ton system, which most people probably don't even know what tonnage system they have, if I had to guess.
Right.
They could even tell you that, and it's like, well, I can give you a straight swap. Does that mean how it's going to play out?
Right.
Maybe.
And the problem is once you say a number, that's the number that sticks in someone's head. It does me. If someone tells me, hey, I've got I'm going to put you a new pool heater in for between $5,000 and $8,000, I'm thinking I can get it done for $5,000 or really close to the $5,000. If they come out there and they say $9,000, then you say, hey, I thought you said between around $5,000. I said, no, between $5,000 and $8,000. Well, you're at $9,000. Well, I shouldn't have said anything, because I just said $8,000, then $9,000 wouldn't have been too bad. Mm-hmm. So it's just the way we work as humans. You got to be very careful. And you want to set your technicians up for success. You want to set the customer up for success. You want your business to be successful. So as we're getting into the end of the year, where a lot of companies, a lot of technicians, a lot of owners are tired and kind of dragging down, it's a little bit of a sluggish economy this year. The weather doesn't help. Then holidays set in, and you just find yourself kind of, I call it, just lulled to sleep here towards the end of the year. And in football, we say finish strong, play for 4 quarters. I mean, what does that mean? It's easy. Hey, you got the lead, or maybe you've accepted a loss. Like both things happen in sports. I mean, even coaching, sometimes you can look and you're coaching kids to play to the whistle or play all the way through, do your personal best, all these different things. And even as a coach, you can find yourself saying, yep, they're out of this one. They're not going to get this one done. And you're probably right, but you're not necessarily right every time.
Yeah. And even in, because I played basketball, from that perspective, I mean, you would take a wide open jumper and you'd think, all right, that's a good shot, which it is. I mean, it's a good shot, but what would coach always say? Follow your shot. So you follow through, you got to go follow that shot. Don't start backing up, holding your hand up, saying that I felt it. That's cash. That's good. He's like, follow your shot. I don't care if it's going in or not. Go get the rebound if it doesn't. Go get your own rebound.
That's right.
I feel like it's even play by play, not even just like go follow it with their 10 seconds on the clock and try to scramble and get the ball back and throw up some, last second prayer.
Right.
Like every time. He was just like, follow your shot.
Yeah.
Go get in there.
We call those processes. Nick Saban made the process very famous in football, and he has all the accolades in the world to prove his philosophy.
Let me ask you something real quick on that. And this may be where you're going, so I might be jumping ahead. You can say, good. Josh, slow down, get in your lane. Like you said, this time of year is the lull. I remember being in school, you would hit Thanksgiving break, be like, all right, year's done. Bro, you got a whole month and a week. You can make a lot of change in a month and a week.
You can.
So how do you follow your shot? Because I'd say that first 11 months, that was like catch the ball, line it up, bring it up. Like it's a very slow process, but the ball's out of the hand now. It just left. How do you follow your shot or coach people to follow their shot now
in business?
Yeah, how do we apply that here? Or it's like, all right, I I know it's this time of year. I know mentally you may have just flipped the switch.
That does come down to coaching and leadership. And ultimately, we're trying to develop that leadership quality in each person. So until you get a person to a point that it bothers them to not perform, or it bothers them to sit idly, or it bothers them to have low ticket price, or it bothers them to have callbacks, it bothers them to have a messy truck. Until you can get them to that point, it's going to come down to your leaders and your trainers in a company. And that's something I had to take, control of again here at ACE. And it's in the details. And one of the ways that I like to attack, I guess, training, developing the conscience, and the character of the technicians in the office, is I have a mentality that if there's nothing to do, look around. Is our shop a model home? Is our office a model office? Is our warehouse a model warehouse? It is not. Just if anybody wants to know, it's not. We do a lot of work, and when you do a lot of work, where no oxen are, the crib is clean. So we're going to have some messes around here. But that's the point. There's always something to do. There's always a tremendous amount of work to do. We're trying to get that little training center built, and it's amazing. It's going, but it's like a little shot here, a little shot there. It just kind of takes shape. Mm-hmm. But so what I did past couple months is I said, okay, if you are slow, number one, you have to be available to help your teammate. You got to be available till the last tech leaves the field. Don't go home and relax and enjoy your day while your brother's out here, grinding it out night after night. It's not a good team. Now, you may call him and say, hey, go on home, man, I got it, and that's fine. But make sure that you offer that technician help. Mm. If there's nothing to do in the field and they say it's okay and it's early, even if there's only an hour left in the day, and you say, Justin, it's going to take me 10 minutes, 20 minutes to get back to the shop. By the time I get there, we get started, it's going to be time to go. Mm-hmm. I don't care. Is it worth it for that technician to come back for that hour or 30 minutes? Probably not. But I won't bend, because it's a mentality. Mm-hmm. There's something to do. And 9 times out of 10, we get more done than we ever thought possible. So we start to build something, or we clean the jetter, or we clean a truck. We check the pressure on, air pressure on the tires of the trucks. We go into truck stock. And oh man, it's like the more I do, the more I see we need to do. Mm-hmm. And I was telling a customer the other day, there was a situation where their house actually flooded, and it was not related to us, but it definitely seemed as it could be. So we had that discussion, and we're getting them some help right now. But in talking to them, I told them, I said, we're a good company. Like, we're not going to leave you, with a damaged home. Even if we didn't do it, we're going to give you the guys, the answers. We're going to help you broker the insurance. We're going to get your house put back together no matter what happens. That's why you pay us. You pay us a little more than some companies. You pay us a lot less than others, but you pay our rate for our service, not just for fixing your toilet, not just for finding the leak, but you are paying for that time when it just doesn't go right. Yeah. Do you have character? Do you have a company that has character? Do you have owners that have character, technicians that have character, to tell the absolute truth, give you the videos, talk to your insurance companies for you, help broker a good deal for you? Yeah. And it went really well. We still, how we're going to handle it all the way has not been all the way concluded, but I feel good with the owners, and the owners, I think, feel good with us. Yeah. We know we're going to get an answer for them. And there's a lot of that side of service, right? So, because we are a service company. That's right. I think that word can get lost a lot in the service industry as far as like what you're actually doing and what that word means. Like if I had you over to my house, I feel like what can happen in a service company, and I'm not saying this is ACE at all, just generic. I have you over. I say, hey, Justin, would you and your family like to come over for dinner? Oh, yeah, absolutely. We'll see you at 6. Sounds great. You show up. I put your plate down in front of you at the table, and you eat.
And a lot of service companies will stop right there. Say, all right, I gave you your meal. That was my service. You're done. You're
Right.
done.
Yeah.
You're done. And then you go clean your dish. Coffee? Not what? What are you asking me for coffee for? Like,
Yeah.
get out of here. I just served you.
Right.
I gave you your meal, what you asked
called
for.
me for dinner. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that mentality can play so much into what a service company is. But I know here, like from what you're saying, to translate it, I think we want to be the people who is like, I'm going to greet you at the door with a smile.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, can I take your coat? Like, that's a lost thing. That's not in our society anymore.
Right.
People going, hey, can I take your coat? Let me go take it over here, hang it up, put your stuff out nice. Sit down here. Here's a glass of water. Here's an appetizer. Now here comes your main food. Afterwards, no, do not get up. Don't bother. Let me clean that for you. Would you like coffee? How about some cake? And then it's like it never ends till you walk out the door.
And do you know how hard it is to do that day in, day out? And this
It's
is where I would
exhausting.
love for my listeners to just acknowledge the effort from some of our technicians from time to time. It's easy to do when it goes right, when the sun's shining and it's a simple job and these things. But, over half the time, our technicians are in a job that is not comfortable, that it has the potential to go wrong. It's a high stress job for them. A lot of research involved with it. And then they have, of course, their pressures of performance metrics that we put on them. So they're having to juggle all that mentally and make it look natural and smooth and easy and fun to give the bold white and blue a call.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate them. I lived it. I know how hard this is. So, true story, we had a technician that just allowed, he didn't even say anything wrong or do anything wrong, but he just allowed his tiredness to show through. Instantly, a customer picked up on it and called, said, hey, where's the other tech that worked on my house? I'm like, he's working. Well, I want that technician. Well, why? Because he's not tired. He's happy. He knows what's going on. He this, he that. And so I said, thank you for that. It's really hard. It's a day after Thanksgiving, whatever. And this is a really good technician. Would you like your job to finish today, or would you like me to reschedule you for Monday? I said, no, it's fine. Let's just go ahead and move it. But they were right. They had a certain bar set for them by the previous technician. And they're like, that's the service I expect from Ace. Now, everybody who comes behind has got to deliver that. So I called this technician. I said, look, I know that you're in a time of life that's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of us has those times. And I know when you're dealing in your own life and things are not going the way that you planned them to go, I know for a fact that that's hard to serve with a smile and give everything you got to another person. Right now, you're in like, I'm about me. I need to fix me. I need to fix my home. I need to fix my finance, or whatever the case is. I'm not going to give his particular situation, but lots of things affect our psychology when we go out in the field to serve somebody. And so when you think about the old servants of antiquity, they had to serve with a smile. If they were, you read about the old kings and stuff, and if they called in a court jester or musicians or dancers or, chefs and artisans of all sorts, they had to be dressed to the nines, perform perfectly with a smile, and go above and beyond. Do you not think those people had another side of their life that was like everybody else? Like, I'm tired. Yeah. I'm sick. I'm dealing with my home, my relationship. I don't have the money. I just don't want it. I want to be inside of myself. Yeah, they do. But they had to do it. They were servants. Mm-hmm. They didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
A lot of times those people would be killed if they didn't deliver, or they would be punished severely for lack of performance to a king, And so when we go into someone's home, and this is the imagery that we try to give to our technicians, you're walking into sacred ground of a person. It doesn't matter who it is. They are king in their home. That's their palace. That's their That's their wives or husbands. That's their children. That's their worldly possessions. That's their safe space. We talked about that before. You are a servant in another person's palace. You want to bring your baggage into there, they're going to fire you. Or I'm going to fire you because it's not proper. And it's like, you think that's harsh. It is. Now, we don't fire on the first time someone has an issue in a home, but we have for sure let people go who did not respect that space. They didn't understand when I crossed that threshold from my truck into your home, there's a different mentality. No matter how bad it goes, I have to call the office and I got to handle it through the proper channels. We've had technicians lose their patience. You know, were they in the right? Yeah. Did they know more than the homeowner? Yes. Was the homeowner being unreasonable? Absolutely. Did that justify them disrespecting them in their home? Nope. It just doesn't. You have to just say, if you'll give me a minute, ma'am or sir, I will get this resolved for you. If it's gotten to a toxic level, say I'm going to send a manager out here. You say, don't worry, we're coming back. Here's a number you can call while I'm gone. You back out of the driveway and you hit a manager there. Whatever it takes. You don't engage that customer in their home, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a hard one to master. Mm-hmm. And above and beyond that, those altercations rarely happen. But more important than that is just that level of performance you bring to the table. Yeah. That willingness to go above and beyond. Like, okay, look, you called me to fix your toilet. Yeah. I've got it fixed. It's not leaking anymore, but it's rocking all over the place. You really need to pull and reset this toilet. Mm-hmm. Man, it's 4:00. They're happy. Should I go on, or should I tell them I can fix this? You know, I can fix this flange. I can reset this toilet correctly. You know, that requires effort, communication, and then a little bit of extra work. Mm-hmm. You know,
I remember you telling us too. Came in a meeting and told us about a Starbucks story, kind of along those lines. Mm-hmm. And that's where I worked at Starbucks for a long time, and mm-hmm. I knew how bad those days would go. Mm-hmm. It would get awful sometimes. You're like, I'd feel like pulling my hair out. I want to slam this thing down. I want to leave, take my apron off, and just throw it in somebody's face. That's mm-hmm. how tense you can get back there,
because they're pushing so fast.
Oh yeah, like the pressure mm-hmm. on you as far as speed goes, people's expectations of you, and like, where's my drink? Where's my, one time a guy told me, I was sitting there talking to a customer, and I thought it, because it was a lady who was standing in front of, it's called a Clover machine. So it was like where we would make our nice coffee. It's something Starbucks bought, and like only they can use this particular machine. It's like a reverse French press. So they'll put their nice coffees on that machine. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're still using them anymore, but they were when I was there. And it's a process. Like, it's a slow thing, because you got to tend to that coffee. And somebody ordered something a little bit more premium. Mm-hmm. And I'm over there at the machine, and the woman who ordered the drink is there, and I'm like talking to her while making the coffee. And this guy, he's right there kind of behind her. I thought it was her husband. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't really think anything of it, or like I didn't say anything when this happened, because I was like, I'm not going to overstep this boundary. But he was like, can you stop talking to her and make my drink? Like, whoa. Like, I was making her drink. I was delivering her service. Yeah. And he positioned himself to be like, but where's mine? Where's mine? Yeah. Take care of me. I don't care about her. She doesn't exist. Matter of fact, you don't exist. You're just my medium that I get what I want. Yeah. So I know the tense nature that it can get to. But I remember you telling us that Starbucks story. I don't know if you want to recount that here.
Well, I have a couple different Starbucks stories, but you talk about the one
where they just got handed it to you, like,
oh yeah,
whatever, and you were like,
so. But long and short of it was I came in and ordered a coffee, and I don't remember all the details now, but from start to finish, it was like they rung it up, and then it say, okay, put your card in. So I stand there in awkward silence, and she's like, oh, you need to put your card in, and okay, I put my card in. It's like, paid at it, and I think it didn't look, it went through or something. Wasn't sure as it did go through, and she just like starts working. I was like, you good? Like, did it go through? Like, just communicate with me. I'm just standing here in awkward silence now. Anyway, so it was like yes, it went through, and like just goes on about her business, and then it's like going longer and longer and longer. And anyway, she makes the coffee, she brings it out, and it doesn't have the heavy whipping cream in it. It's just black. And I said, you mind adding some black? And if you could leave it down. She just kind of rolls her eyes and is like, oh, whatever. And she takes off and is gone for a long time. Like, I guess that she bumped me to the back of the line at that point. So I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. And I was like, excuse me, I just need you to pour some out, put a little cream in there. I'll get out your hair, And then she like pours it out and fills it up overfull, and she just slams it down on the table, and it kind of sloshes all over the outside of the cup. And I was like, pick it up. I was like, you have some napkins? She goes, they're over there. And at that point I said, I want a new coffee. I want a hot coffee with creamer. I don't want this. And she proceeded to make it extremely angry. But I don't know what was going on in that girl's life, but it was definitely not the face you want to put in front of your business. Mm-hmm. But being in the service business, I took note of that. I was like, man, if one of my guys did this to somebody, they're done. They're done in this business. And that's fine. Service is not for everybody, and it's not for everybody all the time. Sometimes guys need a break. Hey, pull back from the service for a while, go do something else for a minute. Yeah. Go do some new construction, go use your vacation time, go do anything but deal with customer service if that's what you need to do to refresh, because it takes a fresh energy to be good at service work.
And it's incredibly exhausting.
It is.
To do customer service. Like I know it. I know I did it in a different industry. Mm-hmm. I wasn't in home services, but I worked in coffee for like 8 years.
But it's also incredibly enjoyable. So
it can be. It can be very rewarding and enjoyable.
So some of my best stories also come from this business. I've met more people that do more types of things. I've built more friendships. I've built a better business than I ever imagined I could because of other people, and because of customer service, and because of great customer. We actually had a call from a customer this morning, and it's always bad when I know a customer's name like that. Now, unless you've been with me for a long time, because I'm not in the field anymore, so I don't necessarily see every customer or job that we do. But if I recognize a customer's name over and over and over again, then I start to dig. Like, why am I hearing this name? Because if we did a new system and we did a new water heater and they have an Ace Home, why are they calling us? Like, they shouldn't be calling us unless you guys are making mistakes.
Yeah.
Or they're, something's not
or like
working. 9 times out of 10.
Exactly.
9 times out of 10, it like this one was a no heat call. It's like, this is a brand new system. Second or third time out here. This is unacceptable. And I told my wife, I said, they're so nice, but I'm not going to lie. I'm in the service business. And if I contracted with, even when that happens with my own technicians on my home, and it's cold and my heater doesn't work out and I've bought a new system, I'm on a maintenance plan and my heat doesn't come on, customers, if you're listening to me, you call and ask for me. I get it. That is unacceptable. And so I'll come in to play at that point saying, no matter what, you guys leave this customer's house, everything is perfect, or I'm going out there. That's what I was talking about this morning when I said I'm going to go out there myself and look at these jobs if there's another callback on an existing customer or a plan member. Because if we've maintained those units and those machines don't fire up, it better be something really out of the ordinary that happened, because if not, you didn't do your job, or they didn't. Maybe you caught something. Now, if you maintained it, you gave estimates to repair something, and they didn't go with the estimate to repair it. Well, then that's a different story. Yeah. But if everything's you gave a thumbs up, and all the metrics are all perfect on this system, and it doesn't fire up, you probably didn't do your job. And so, like, we're really trying to focus on getting in there to make sure that doesn't happen, because I understand why an owner would be frustrated in that situation. Man, it's cold and you're getting up in the morning, and and it's one thing if that happens to you, whatever, call an HVAC company. But when you're actively dealing with an HVAC company or a plumbing company, and you're a preferred plan member and you pay them $20 a month to come out there and maintain this stuff for you and keep it up in perfect condition, that is unacceptable, man. Unacceptable. And that's what I'm trying to tell our technicians as we go into the winter. Yes, you're tired. Yes, the days are getting shorter. You feel a little lethargic. You're tired. You're feeling the holiday spirit and all these different things. But this is when it also gets cold. This is also when people have a lot of strain on their systems because they have family members in. This is where our job starts to win. This is the fourth quarter. I have more loyal customers from Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's holidays being available to them or getting them out of a bind than I ever built by just being there 8 to 5 on sunny days.
Yeah. Because even, we were just talking to another company that we do a lot of kind of cross work with. And he was like, y'all are working today? Mm-hmm. Oh, good for you. Mm-hmm. But because if I had to take a guess, I don't know this statistic, but I would be willing to say probably day after Thanksgiving
on a Friday,
and then day after Super Bowl maybe is probably the most called out day.
Probably so
for employees. If I had to guess, and we can check Mr. Sloshley's data on that later.
Mr. Sloshley with that.
But I just have a feeling like that's probably the two, because you got a Friday, so you can lead yourself a long weekend, or you got make yourself a weekend after Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
But
hey, if we have to say, hey, I got tech talk coming in, y'all want to hear how we talk to technicians?
Sorry about that, guys. We had a little
technical talk here.
Technical difficulty real quick. We ran out of storage space.
Yeah, that's all right.
But to jump back into it, we're just leaving.
You ready to go?
Yeah. We're going right now.
We're going now. Oh,
yeah.
My bad. Okay, so it's technical difficulty there. Anyway, so where were we at before all this happened?
Just talking about how probably the day after Thanksgiving and the day after Super Bowl, probably everybody is laying out.
Laying out a little bit, yeah. And the end of the year causes that, it's just that little wind down session. And psychologically, it's supposed to. There's a time where you have summer, the days are long, it's high productive. As humans, we do need that energy to shrink a little bit so that we recharge. So God has shrunken the days a little bit. We have the mornings, the days are shorter. So we can't work as long, but we can work smart. And one of the things that I like to focus on as the days shorten and the mentality of everybody goes into relax mode is, I call it sharp bits.
Yeah, let's get back on it. You said you want to talk about the sharp bits.
So in the old days, when the winter came, the farmers is sitting around, the harvest is in, the year is done, and they're sitting through those cold days. They maintain their equipment, their horses rested, their oxen rested, their mules rested, got their strength back, and the farm equipment was sharpened. All the things that broke down during the flurry of action are repaired, and so that way when spring comes and it's time to break ground again, everything's ready to go. And I like my grandfather was a farmer. We still have potato farms in Idaho, so definitely a part of my DNA. And my mother, she was farmer, rancher, stock, I guess you'd say. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we kind of have that understanding in our family that winter's a time to mend the fences, and so that mentality stays with me. So as I see the days shortening, I know even before this podcast, you came and got me, and I'm out going through my toolboxes and blowing all the dust out of them, and I want to lay all my tools back in nice and neat. And that's me personally for my personal stuff in the shop. And I want the guys to do the same thing. When I pull out of the bits out of a truck, we might have piles of bits in these trucks, for drilling through stuff. And it's time to sharpen them or get rid of them by new bits, new saw blades. I tell people all the time as a technician, if you want to be the best you can be, you already know how to do the work. Wrenches aren't going to change. Your fittings are all going to be manufactured. They're good. The thing that separates a great technician from a not so great technician is sharp bits. Screws, tape, fasteners, straps, hangers, all the details that allow you to get your work from point A to point B and display it. That's it. So when I go through a truck, what I want to see in the trucks right now is I want to do inventory on all the trucks. Every tech's going to pull out every bin, give me a count on everything in that truck. We're going to set those proportions back correct. Every fitting has to be the right amount in that truck. But the main thing I'm looking for is
Sharp bits.
Sharp bits. You know, hey, look, you've got concrete bits here that are 5 years old. You think you're going to go out there and go through a pour wall foundation efficiently and you're going to be excited to get to work? No, because if you have sharp bits and you have sharp blades, you look at that wall and I say, hey, put a hole through that wall. You're not even going to hesitate. You're going to make your mark. You're going to whip out that nice sharp bit. Your pipe's going to go right through there. No problem. It's a mentality. You already know you have the tools to do the job. You're confident. You're prepared. So for me, sharp bits is a key, and you'll hear me talk about it all the time. What I love to do in this podcast for my guys, for myself, for you, for the office, for our families, for our listeners, is offer a little personal challenge. We all have that space or that area in our life that's just like, man, when I get time and we get to that, I'm going to organize that. I'm going to clean that up. Do you know when that time is? It's now, right now. The days aren't going to get any. We're heading into the shortest day of the year right now, so the days are shrunk. You're going to have holiday time. You're off. You're not going to go out and make a ton of money, probably. I mean, everybody's kind of hunkering down. Big projects are on hold till after the first of the year. This is the time to make big gains in your personal life, refresh your mind, your trucks, your vehicles, your relationships, everything. Pick a very disorganized part of your life and organize it. I'm going to go further than that. I'm going to take a picture when we're done here of what I'm organizing in the shop, and then I'll post my after picture. Mm-hmm. So remind me of that. Next couple of weeks, we'll post the after picture. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm not going to throw a bunch of money at it. I'm just going to clean, sweep. Challenge yourself to find cheap bins. Don't spend a bunch of money on it. Everybody thinks organization costs a lot of money. It really doesn't if you're creative. That's that word again. My dad used to use ammo cans that he would buy from military surplus stores. Now, those are probably pretty pricey now, but back then they were a dime a dozen. You could just buy them from military lots. I use a lot of 99 cent to $1 clear plastic things I pick up from Lowe's and Home Depot. The cheapest little containers I can find. I use Folgers coffee cans for a lot of things. Milwaukee packouts, if you want to spend a little bit of money. Look at the Milwaukee packout system. It is amazing now. Ace Hardware on Old Spartanburg Highway in Greer has the racks that you can screw to your walls to hang your boxes and hang all your drills. It has a whole system. It's gone way past pack-out boxes. So if you really want to deep dive into some organization, look at Milwaukee Pack-Out. It's incredible.
Okay.
But I'm going to go, challenge people like Folgers coffee cans or whatever you have, sheetrock mud buckets, whatever it is. Take that space that is a disaster in your life and just have fun with it. Don't get mad. Don't sling stuff all across the yard like, oh, I've got to deal with this. But actually say, put no time limit on it. I'm just going to go out here and slowly and systematically watch my mind relax and become structured and organized. And I'm going to take this little messy space in my life and I'm going to make it good. I'm going to make it clean. I'm going to make it make sense. And watch how your whole world starts to open up by you dealing with that one little problem. And once you start to organize, you're going to be like, man, I got to go here. I got to go here. I got to go here. And it just never stops. And if you allow that momentum to grow through the slow season, through the fourth quarter, you'll be playing on January 1st. You know what I mean?
It's like it's funny. Your son actually said this one day. What did he say? He's like, one of the things that irritates him the most is like trying to grab something out of a cabinet and then everything else falls out while you're trying to get to that thing.
Like you just need to grab your
like a kitchen cabinet or something.
Yes.
Like I need that mug back there.
I need a shovel, but I gotta pull out the extension cord and all the paint cans that fall out with it.
I remember him talking about that. He's like, I can't stand when you try to get in a cabinet and get something and then you gotta either move stuff out of the way or stuff comes tumbling down when you're trying to
And here's a
this
little
little-
pointer when you start to organize, because a lot of people don't organize because they don't have a master plan yet. That's a big problem for a lot of people. They're maybe so OCD, or they have this vision of what they want to be so nice that they never do anything because it's like, I don't have the money to buy pack outs, let's say. Okay, just start moving stuff and throwing away stuff that you're not going to use. If you haven't touched it in a year or two, get rid of it. You're probably not. Yeah. Okay, sell it, get rid of it, whatever. Or just stick it over in a big barrel of things that you haven't touched in 2 years. Let's just start there. Don't have to get over involved with it, right? And then just start moving things category: digging equipment, painting equipment, mechanical equipment. Just be general for a while. You don't have to be like, oh, wrenches, sockets, which I am that way. But anyway, like you don't have, if you're not there yet, that's fine. You know, you don't have to micro manage your organization. Just make sure that you start somewhere. Like start putting things in big categories and boxes in your brain. And if your level of organization is putting it all in 5-gallon buckets and setting in the corner, that's fine. Do it. And then but you're going to see that when you start to do that, you're going to take that 5-gallon bucket and you're going to say, okay, now let me break out some coffee cans and I'm going to go like specific types of bolts, you know, and then you're like, oh, I got three different sizes, and I'm going to go with little smaller containers. And you'll start to build a management system for yourself that works. Yeah. One of my favorite books was written by Dave Gerstel. I think I mentioned it before, Run a Successful Construction Company. But his whole philosophy was on efficiency. And he ran a very successful construction company, but he made sure that his warehouse was 10 by 12. That was his warehouse, 10 feet by 12 feet.
That was his whole warehouse?
His whole shop. He said anything else that you have to keep that can't be kept at a 10 by 12 is not worth keeping. Now, he built it cool so that it had a tall wall. I actually built one of these and it was incredibly efficient. The back wall was very tall, so he could stand vertically, ladders, okay? And then it was only 10 feet out, and then the front wall was a little shorter, so he had a pitched roof on it. And then everything was shelved. He argued that you didn't need a full workshop, that you could just pay millwrights or construction workers or cabinet makers or whatever for the pieces you needed. But as far as what you needed to manage a construction company, you know, whether it was your ladders, your lasers, your digging equipment, whatever the case was that you needed, you could keep it in a 10 by 12.
That's crazy.
Then he went even further. He had an office design diagram that was about the size of this table. He would sit in the middle of it. So he can touch everything from his printer, his computer, to his file cabinet. He could touch it in a U shape. He had it in his closet in his master bedroom. And this guy was incredibly successful. So I want to challenge everybody, like, we think bigger is better in society. Sometimes less is more, a lot more. Get rid of the extra stuff. Like, people come out of my shop. I had a guy stop by. What was this?
A few days ago.
A few days ago, yeah. And he wanted to buy all my scrap. Well, we do give our coils and some of our air conditioning scrap to an older guy who helps take care of him and his family, and that's just going to be the way it is. But he said, like, as many trucks as you have, like, you should have scrap everywhere. And he comes out of my shop, and he's like walking around. He's like, there's nothing really valuable here. No, it's not. It's on the trucks. If it's valuable, then it's valuable. That means it's on the truck and it's going to someone's home. If it's not valuable, what do I need it for? And he's like, this is crazy. He's walking around. He's like, where's all your wire? Where's all this? Where's all that? You know? And I'm like, man, like, we put on a truck or we get rid of it. And we're going to get better and better and better at it. I would love it so that my warehouse was just kind of a fun place to come have coffee, do a podcast, and hit baseballs. Because I shouldn't need a ton of stuff to run a successful company here.
Yeah.
You know, you have your outdoor areas, you have your jetters, you have your digging equipment, you have all that stuff organized outdoors. You have a few custom pieces that you need for emergency guys in each division. That should be all you need.
And that clean out phase is really where you make a lot of headway. Because my wife told me, she's like, man, you're like a hoarder. And it's not like to the point where I got stuff on top of stuff flowing everywhere. You know, the show hoarders, that's a whole nother leg. That's disgusting.
Right. I get it.
But yeah, there was a lot of stuff. It's like, that has some sentimental value. I don't want to throw that away, or I might get around to that. Like, I kind of like this thing, or I did like it at one point.
So maybe it's going to
So
come
I just
back.
found a place somewhere. Like, I'll put that in this closet or whatever, and then a box is going in a box and it's going in. It's like I haven't even touched that in years, and you open the box again. Oh, I forgot I had that.
So I have a bit of that myself. Like I when kids give me art, you know, I have art for my older kids that are grown to grandkids. I don't like to get rid of it because it means something to me. That was that my oldest son at 30 is never going to draw me that "I love you, Daddy" picture that meant the world to him holding a fishing pole. Like that's not happening again. He don't think that way. You know, he loves me, but not that way. You know, those are precious memories for me. Here's what I'm going to challenge you to do is find those few pieces and put them in a nice piece of framed art and actually hang it on a wall.
Like scrapbook it or something.
Scrapbook it or something and put it in and actually do something with it so you can pull it out, or put it actually, if you really like it that much, then put it in a piece of framed art. If not, take a digital picture of it, put it on a thumb drive. Yeah. So you can always have it. But, you know, trying to condense some of those things is huge, you know, for helping declutter your brain. Sometimes actually letting go of worldly possessions frees your mind up to be creative again.
And you'll be much happier. You know, I'm thinking of like that, I don't know if you were thinking of this, but like a storage shed or like a tool shed where you're like, you got to pull the shovel out and the 8 rakes come out with it.
Oh, yeah.
The lawnmower's in the way. You haven't even used that push mower in years. It's like all this stuff. When you go back to that space to use it then the next time, you're so much happier. Like we let these daily burdens and inconveniences just become our life. Like, oh, I know I'm going to have to dig through this drawer to try to find this. And you just put up with it. And it makes you mad every time.
Every time. And we keep doing it. And we literally waste our lives away carrying junk sometimes. It's always amazing when you say, okay, I'm going to clean up. I'm going to sell some of this stuff. And then you look at it, you're like, you know, actually, I'm just going to throw it away.
Yeah.
Like you're literally carrying around junk that needs to go in a trash can. And you're taking care of it and letting it take space in your house, in your head. And it winds up mentally bogging you down. Yeah.
And it kind of makes, I know this is a different application of how it is explained, but it makes me think about the account about the man who built bigger storage. He's like, oh, now I must build my barns bigger and store more. And he's told, you know, thou fool, thy soul shall be required of thee today, or whatever exactly it says. Yeah. And I know the actual meaning there is different, but I think there is a lot of application to that, to these everyday things. Like we think, oh, well, I have so much stuff and I'm getting more because my appetite is insatiable, that my solution is to build a bigger space to put all of my things in, my junk in. But what we don't realize is it's in that barn where your soul is being taken from you. Because I go in there and I'm angry. Like that's taking your soul when I'm giving to anger.
Yeah, I'm letting those things. What if you walked out there and there was no barn, or you walked out into an empty barn? Would it make you mad, or would it help you dream?
Yeah. Right. And so now we're going in there and we have all these things that we craved and desired at one point, but now they're actually, instead of giving to me, they're taking away from me.
Goes back to necessary endings. It even applies to stuff.
Right.
Books. I'm getting ready to start before the new year. I want to clean out my books. I love books just like you do. But I'm going back and looking at books that I'll ever pick up again. And a lot of them were from my younger days where I was learning about finance, or I was learning about trades, or I was learning about so many things, and the whole world was just open to me, and I just need to learn. And now I'm looking at these books and they're elementary, or I don't even respect that author, you know? So with age comes wisdom. Like, yes, those were neat in their time, but they don't apply to me now. Get rid of them. Just get rid of them.
That's asking a lot of me.
It is. It is. But you're also younger than I am. You're younger than I am. Yeah. When I was your age, I wouldn't get rid of any books. Period.
That's one thing I'm like have a really hard time parting with.
But see, now I have books that I have gotten rid of or been borrowed from me. Those books I want back and will reorder. But that tells me something. That tells me those books had meat that stills meat. What's the point in keeping a book that gives nothing to you? There's really none, Josh. I mean, if it gives you nothing and it's sitting on your shelf, it could have a really good book in its place. You know, it's like a refrigerator full of, I don't know, 2% milk or skim milk or something. Like, yeah, you got all kinds of milk in there, but I'm not drinking it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's all spoiled.
It's just going to spoil.
Or that book, you've already picked it to the bones.
Yeah.
Like, there's no meat left really in it.
Now, if it's a book I've picked to the bones, it probably means a lot to me. Like kind of like that Dave Gerstel book. Yeah. I don't know that I necessarily need any information, but when I pick it up, it refreshes me and it brings back old dreams, old purposes, and it can recenter me. So a book that I picked apart probably is on the shelf still. But a book that I probably glazed over or picked one or two things out of or never really overly resonated, it needs to go.
Right.
You know, a lot of old financial books and things like that. Just,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like you have your way of doing things now. Or maybe, I mean, as a result of all the smart financials we run here, like our level of accounting imagination is so much further than what, you know, so many of those, even as much as I like him, Dave Ramsey, I mean, it doesn't apply to me running my business exactly. Like I teach Dave Ramsey to my kids to some degree, but it just doesn't, I don't need his books. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, I typically haven't been a big rereader. I've started doing that a little bit more. You know, and it's recommended to you with certain books. Like someone, I don't remember where I heard it from, but they said, you know, read The Old Man and the Sea once when you're young and once when you're old, and you'll read it with a completely different mindset, and you're like, wow, 100%, I just read now.
Yep.
So there's instances where I do feel like the reread is almost a new read. It's very important to go back to those things, and I'm doing that now with The Sun Also Rises by Hemingway. And you get something completely different because you are something completely different. It's like the old saying, you know, you never stand in the same river twice.
It's perspective.
It's perspective.
Yeah.
I'm a different set of circumstances or situations now reading the same words, and it's like, whoa, this is not the book I remember. In good ways in some parts and in bad ways in others.
But you know, going back with that though, if you get to where you're decluttering, you can go back more than you think. And this is a message that I hope gets more than 40 views. If it, most of the stuff, I don't care how many people look at it. We do it for us. But this is one I really wish that people would listen to. By decluttering and going back, physically going back to a simpler way. Well, we can't change and get the smaller house all the time. We can't always change. My life doesn't allow me, with as many kids as I have, to have the ultimate simple lifestyle that I love. But I can streamline it down. I can give those things to other people. I can give them to my children. I can burn it. I can do lots of things that are way more simple and get back to the richness of life that you can have only when it was a dream. I don't know if you follow me on that or not, but when you get a little bit older and you start to see your kids leave, grandkids come, you want a certain lifestyle for them. And you spent your whole life building one in a dream that you're chasing, and you're starting to acquire certain things, and you're starting to realize, hey, man, it wasn't so bad when it was way back here. Like, let's go back a little bit. I'm not saying that you don't ever grow up or you don't progress financially, or you don't chase your dream to as far as you want to. But at the same time, make sure that you're getting rid of those weights, those dull bits, those old saw blades that are just taking up space, staying in that sharp zone. Because it can, sometimes you go backwards to go forwards. So whenever we're building this company, and we're doing all these things, we're adding on these new features that we can do, and all of a sudden we're kind of hitting a wall, and we're all just kind of looking at each other glazed over with coffee eyes. The simplest way is just shrink back a little bit, cut out some of the fluff, organize the truck, talk to technicians about what we're really doing, that we're servants. You know, you get caught up in all the maximum yield, you know, understandings of great companies of today, and you know, all the ways to make financial gain, and you lose the spirit of what you actually are, a service company. If you simplify it and receive the spirit again, then all the other stuff can be implemented again. But if you're trying to implement on top of implementations with no spirit, you're an unwieldy, ugly machine farm implement that's dull and broken down. And that to me is just where I'm at for November, December in the fourth quarter. I think that the year has been a grind. I feel like that the world has been abused by COVID, starting with COVID, with all the inflation, with the cost of everything, with debt, with credit cards, with overspending on homes, the inundation of school systems and their oppressions that they're putting on parents and children with their things that they're doing, the political strife and debates, and, all this stuff has happened to us that it's just time to sharpen the bits, man. Mm-hmm. Throw away stuff, get rid of ideas, get rid of, I'm gonna go personal, get rid of Netflix, get rid of the Prime and all the different things that you can eat up your time and energy. If you want to watch something healthy. I mean, I'm not saying you got to do this, but I went back and I started watching, and I never watched these, so this was even before my time, but I started watching old John Wayne movies. They're awful. I mean, awful.
My dad would disagree.
The acting, the acting is horrendous.
Yeah,
the videography is horrible compared to what we experience today. But what's funny? If you don't allow yourself to be super entertained and you just sit there and that's the only thing you have, you're either going to say, okay, I've had enough watching TV, I'm going to go do something, or you're going to actually lock into that story. Mm-hmm. And some of the stories and morals were amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got my kids doing it now. I'm talking about black and white, like 40s and 50s stuff. That's old. And then then you let them see something from the 70s, and it's like, wow. So you can actually take your mind back, slow it down, and it will begin to recenter and gravitate to whatever it is you're putting in. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing because when I first started doing it, I was like, man, these John Wayne movies are just rough. Now, I love the Duke. I love his messaging and a lot of the cowboy values that he, at least, from the cinema standpoint, stood for. So, but it was painful at first. Mm-hmm. But about a weekend, guess what? I'm ready to watch little John Wayne.
Yeah.
1940s.
Yeah.
You realize that's almost, that's 70 years ago.
Very different world.
80 years ago.
Very different.
Yeah. So, but that's all part of the declutter that I kind of like to do in the winter. Get in your garage, put your furnace on, put your radiator heater on. Just go out there and clean shop. That's what it's for.
We did a little bit. Like, we started watching, this was a little while ago, but Murder, She Wrote.
Okay.
You know that old show?
I've seen it, but I've never watched it.
I mean, it's not as old as like John Wayne, I don't think. I mean, I have no idea when this was made, but I would say looking at it, it's probably not that old.
Yeah.
But it is one of those shows. A lot simpler, a lot slower. You get more into the storyline and because there's not 800 billion things going on at once. Mm-hmm. Like now, the new Stranger Things just dropped.
Yeah.
And that's a show that is very visually stimulating, and there's so much happening and going on, and that's kind of what we've been accustomed to. Mm-hmm. It's if there's not 800 million things happening, then I'm not entertained anymore.
Right.
I'm like, this is stupid. This is slow. There's not lights flashing over here and somebody getting beat up over here, and then whatever it is.
Right.
So even doing that was an interesting little change of pace that we did. And we did, it's all right, we can watch this. It's more pure and it's not as a lot of other stuff in the show that's going on where we don't have to sit there and worry do we have to fast forward and go through whatever. But yeah, we had that experience too, where it's all right, just let's put on an old show that my Meemaw knows about.
In my family, I'm always wanting to, when I'm watching something, I'm always worried if my younger kids are sitting there, even my older kids sitting there watching it, what innuendo was there. Or now it's not even innuendos, what flat out scene pops on the screen, and language that they're just pounding and pounding to where you start to think it's acceptable. Even if it's not, you just start to normalize it in your head. And so I'm always watching TV almost with, on guarded a little bit. Like, what do I need to pause or what do I need to fast forward through since kids are sitting here? And really, even for me. So when you're doing that, some of those older shows like that, you don't have to. So I would like to just hear of anybody else who experimented with, like, instead of running down to the Starbucks, make an old pot of coffee. Enjoy that cup of coffee in a very simple way. I mean, coffee used to be a treat. You know, like you didn't get it all the time. It was very difficult to get. You know,
or chocolate.
Yeah,
like that was chocolate was for royalty.
And
man.
and I mean, even like the mochas and stuff before Starbucks came, it was you made them. I mean, it was a very nice treat to have a latte or a mocha. Now, it's just like 2 or 3 a day. You know, you're burning $15, $20 on Starbucks before you know it. You know. So just maybe a fun podcast to talk about getting simple and taking care of what you got, replacing what you don't need, you know, with something a little bit more quality. So sharpen those bits.
Why do you think, and we can kind of start to pull it together here, why do you think simple is so rich? Like why?
Well, I don't believe the human mind is designed to have passion at every level. You know that's why you're supposed to love one woman, you know, or man, or you know, and you have your family, and you have your business, and you have your very small things to take care of. When we start to get so large, it becomes a team effort. You know, even a business, like I can't love this business at every detail the way I could when I had my truck and I went out and serviced your home. I can't, you see me always jump into my truck to go cover a call for someone and being so frustrated. Like, hey, my setup's not here. Well, it's because it's outgrown me. I'm not supposed to be in that truck everywhere, fixing everything, you know? And so I think that there's just a lot of beauty in singleness of purpose. You know, I mean, Solomon, the wisest man to ever walk the face of the earth, did everything. He built gardens, he built cities, he established phenomenal trade, international trade, explored all the avenues of 1,000 wives, and, you know, just every avenue of possession, he explored it. And at the end of all of his life and his writings, he said, the whole duty of man is to fear God and keep his commandments, which are very simple. You know, we're the ones who complicate things, and we allow society to dictate that we need a certain size home. We need a boat. We need 2 really nice cars. We need all the things that are put on us is put on by our own greed, not need. I remember that, our family shared a car. Mom dropped Dad off to work, and we went to school, and Mom kept the home fires burning, picked Dad up from work, and then he'd use that to go out and church work in the evenings. And, it was just probably not the easiest life, but it was simple, So simple doesn't always mean that it's easy. There's sacrifice for trying to simplify in a complicated world. You may not have as much money if your wife stays at home, or whatever the case is that you determine to do to simplify your life. If you decide you want one car, you're going to have a trade-off there. If you decide that you want to let go of Netflix or whatever, you're going to have some boring nights that you're going to be sitting there and you have to come up with something else to do. But it can create a richness that you're not going to get if you're just always chasing the next easiest, fastest, newest, most convenient thing. I can get a lot of work done in a simple truck with sharp bits. I'm just saying. Guys who know.
Sharp bits.
Sharp bits, man.
Alrighty. Well, before we close it out,
go Dogs.
I can't.
Go Dogs.
I can't say those sentiments.
Why? You're pulling for a losing team right now. Just go Dogs.
I don't know if it'll come out of my mouth.
No, well, they have something left to prove. There is still some pride left, and that is this weekend. Yeah. They better go beat Carolina.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Carolina better go beat Clemson.
Nah.
Hey, I'm outside looking in on that one. But anyway.
You get to just have fun with that one.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. I've got a roll today. Go ahead. You have something else?
One thing I'd mentioned to you that I'd like to start and implement
Okay.
is, I don't know what we're gonna call it. We can just call it Bold, White, and Blue Book Club or something, whatever. Is trying to cover a book and deep dive into it.
Okay.
I don't know how often that schedule is going to be, whether it's a book a month or whatever.
Okay.
But I think we'll just go ahead and throw it out now. First book, Book of Five Rings.
Okay.
Let's do that one first. It's a short book.
We're going to keep these books pretty much business or business or motivational?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll find a way to tie it in. It's not going to be something super random that's not going to relate at all. But
Got you. Because I'm a reader, but I kind of like
staying in that lane.
I like to stay in that lane.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So we'll start there. That's a book I haven't read yet. I picked it up. So I'm excited.
This is a book that I read in my early 20s that influenced a lot of my thought. So it's going to be very fun for me to read it again. So I will actually do that this weekend.
So we'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead. We'll dig in, read the Book of Five Rings. Don't know when exactly that episode will be that we'll cover it, but it'll be very shortly.
Let's do it Monday.
So if anybody wants to
Friday.
go with us and dig into that, please get your copy immediately.
It's Miyamoto Musashi, The Book of Five Rings.
Don't ask me to spell it.
I think I can, but we'll skip that part.
We'll do that, and hopefully we'll also be in the other set next episode.
That's going to be fun.
That's a goal.
Also, a quick reminder to everybody watching, we probably need to put this out on an email blast for the community. December 6th, we're having a big community event Saturday. That's this weekend coming up. It's just blinked and it's here. Bouncy houses, some vendors, some food trucks, just a time where some local teachers are going to be there. Some of our team will be there to help just meet everybody and just have a good time. It's free. So utilize it. Thank you to the Ren community too for letting us use that park, to do that. They're not charging us anything, nor are we going to charge anything for it. So it's totally free, and we really are putting our heart into it and want to have a good time. So thank you, everybody, and keep those bits sharp. Clean one space this weekend or this week.
All right.